Hey guys, it's Nathan here from Invision Property. Today I'll get to sit down with the enthusiastic and extremely humble Jason Adcock. When you think about luxury property in Brisbane, so you're talking like waterfront properties, penthouses, $4 million properties, $2 million properties, you think about Jason Adcock. Thanks, mate, for joining me today.
No worries. Pleasure to be here.
Thanks, Jason. Let's jump straight into it. I just wanted to get an understanding of the luxury market. And first of all, with what's happening with the COVID situation, how has that impacted buyers and sellers? So we'll probably get started with how it's in fact impacted buyers coming to these luxury properties.
Yep. No problems at all. Look, it's a very interesting question, and it's totally surprised me the last sort of 2 to 3 months going through this COVID-19. The thing that you've got to understand is at the moment our listings are down in the luxury sector of the market. And I'm talking, riverfront properties. I'm talking, the prestige properties, mainly over 2 million throughout Brisbane.
Yep.
The amount of listings are down 40% on what they were for the same time last year.
Okay.
But another interesting statistic is the buyer inquiry is up 50%. So really, it's been business as usual for us in the luxury sector. We've knocked off a number of really high-profile properties over the last 2 to 3 months. We had one on the river at 39 Richmond Street at Corinda. That set a suburb record at $5.1 million for a riverfront property. It's a beautiful big home, 1,000 square metre home on around about 3,600 square metres. We just knocked off another one at Brookfield, and that was sold in the middle of COVID-19, and we got more than $3 million for that, and that sold in 31 days. And usually the average days on market for a property at that price in Brookfield is around about 6 months. So to answer your question, we're finding there's way more buyer inquiry than there are houses available for sale. So it's a very good time to be coming to the marketplace at the moment.
Well, that's quite interesting, because I sat down sort of with Will Torres and Jonathan Harper Hill, and they're saying the same thing. There's just not enough stock on the market.
Yes.
And there's an influx of buyers, and there's still the same amount of buyers coming through. And I guess on the back of that question, you mentioned that there's low stock levels. Are you finding that sellers are holding off?
Yeah, look. At the end of the day, for whatever reason, some sellers are holding off because of their own personal situation. They're not quite ready to come to the market. Yeah. There's other property sellers that are wanting to come to the market sort of in the more traditional selling periods in spring. But my advice to any seller out there in the marketplace is you come to the market when there's not a lot available for sale, and particularly with the level of buyer inquiry that we've got out there at the moment. One interesting feature that I've noticed through this COVID-19 is we have sold a lot of properties to people that saw them just prior to COVID-19. Oh. Okay, so what they've been doing is they're ringing me up and saying, hey, Jason, we hate the house that we're living in at the moment. This whole isolation and lockdown has realised that we really want to move on. That property that we saw 6 to 8 weeks ago, we want to buy it. Can you come over with contracts? Let's get the ball rolling. So that's a one silver lining that really has come out of this COVID-19 situation. People have evaluated where they want to be in their life, particularly their home. It really, if they were spending more time at home, they're starting to realise it's time to move on. It's time to upgrade and get that property that really suits their family needs at the moment.
That's great, and it's quite interesting to hear in that sort of aspect. I guess we'll jump onto the second question. So the audience that I have are currently, a lot of them are buyers, and they're looking to get into the Brisbane market. They're either moving into state, or they're looking to buy their first home. Do you have any memories of good memories of working with a buyer, and what did they do to make it such a good experience and a good transaction that made you want to work with them a lot closer?
Look, I've worked with a number of buyers recently that have really registered their interest in a transparent way up front with me. They've gone and inspected the property. After the inspection, before they've left the property, they've said, Jason, we really love the property. Please make sure that, if another offer comes in on this property, that you get in contact with us, because we will be coming back to you shortly, and we believe we will be making an offer. So to answer your question, it really is the people that are transparent with me and register their interest are the ones that I'm going to focus on to see if I can do a deal with those people. And the flip side of that is, if they didn't register that interest with me, and particularly with the level of interest we've got in some of these beautiful properties I've got at the moment, they would have missed out on that property. Particularly with that one at Brookfield, we had a number of people interested in that property, and we did have an offer come in on the place. I then rang the buyer that had registered their interest and said, listen, looks like the property will be sold later on this evening. I'm giving you an opportunity to put your best and final offer forward. He put his best and final offer forward and secured the property.
Okay. Yeah, so transparency is the key there.
Absolutely.
Try not to play too many games.
Don't play any games at all.
You end up shooting yourself in the foot.
Absolutely.
Time and time.
My recommendation to any buyer out there in the marketplace, if they see a property they like, register that interest with the agent and put forward a fair and reasonable offer. Don't try to lowball it, because you're going to miss out on the property. The agent isn't going to take you seriously.
I was actually talking to a buyer yesterday, and his problem is that he just keeps on trying to lowball on properties. And I just said, all you're going to do is piss off agents. They're not going to want to deal with you. And it's just not the right thing to do. Like, you're just wasting everybody's time.
Absolutely. He'll end up getting, blacklisted with the agents that are out there in the marketplace. Yeah. And when a relevant property comes up that totally ticks all the boxes for the property that he's after, the agents aren't going to follow him up, and they're not going to present that property to him because they believe they're always going to get a low ball offer from him.
To jump on the third question, what's this one's kind of out of the box, but what sort of properties sell quickly? Like, is there a certain type of property, like a riverfront property or a penthouse?
Yep.
What style of property you find that just goes?
Okay, when it comes to riverfront properties, anything within a 7 or 8 kilometre radius of the city, something that has got a fabulous outlook towards the river, that isn't obscured by mangroves or by trees. So the view is a big point. They pay the big money for that unobstructed views, and they also pay for a high level fit out. That's really high quality bathrooms, high quality kitchens, and also a family friendly layout. That's incredibly important with families these days. And with every single property that we bring to the market, we make sure that we have a floor plan on there, and we also have a walkthrough and drone video, so people can get a real idea of what the property's after, what it's like. But look, the view sells it when it's on the river, but also the quality of the property that's there as well. People in the bracket that I'm looking after don't really want to do much to it. They're time poor people, and they prefer something that's fully done rather than something that needs to be renovated.
Awesome. Well, just to finish up, if anybody wants to get in contact with you, do you have just go visit you through Instagram, or what's the best way to get in contact with yourself?
Look, we're on all social media platforms, and that plays a massive part in how we market and present ourselves out there into the public at the moment. So we've got a big following on Instagram. We've got a big following on Facebook. We use LinkedIn. LinkedIn has become really into its own probably the last 2 to 3 years. But look, probably the best way to contact me is the old-fashioned pick up the phone and dial me. or send me a text or an email, but probably the best way to get in contact with me is just get my mobile number and give me a call.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to sit down with me today.
Yep, no problems at all, Nathan. Thank you.
Thanks.